Hi guys, and welcome back. Today is a very exciting day for us because we're actually picking up our F90 M5 after what seems like an enormously long wait. Originally the car was meant to turn up in March. It's now middle of July or towards the end of July. So it's been a very long wait compared to what we were expecting, but it's finally here. It's the first car that Sit and Tamworth have delivered to a customer. So I'm really happy about that. We're going to go through the car, show you what we've ordered, why we've ordered it. The car is actually in Donington Grey. Now when I picked the colour, there wasn't any real individual colours available. I really wanted Twilight Purple, but for me I think the Donington Grey was the next best choice. It's quite a dynamic colour, so it looks light silver in some conditions and it looks sort of darker grey in other conditions. What I have noticed about the car is, especially on the outside, it seems to be a lot bigger than the F10 M5. The proportions are quite large, so it's almost like the old 7 Series was. Now when we get a chance, we've still got our F10, so we'll do a side-by-side comparison of the two cars to show you the differences in size, proportion and driving impressions. But you know, aside from the way it looks, I'm really excited to actually get behind the wheel of this car and spend some time in it and drive it to see what it's really like, see what the four-wheel drive system's like and how it switches to two-wheel drive and what it's like then to drive in two-wheel drive. Now I have had a brief drive of IND's F90 M5 in America, which was nice, but obviously it wasn't my car, so I wasn't able to push it too hard, but immediately I could tell that it seemed like a tuned F10 M5. So I'm pretty sure that this car has more power than BMW are quoting, and obviously we will get the car on the dyno and check that out and see what it's doing. As you can see, the car has iconic adaptive LEDs like the F80 M3 has. The bumper design has actually changed quite a lot, so there's no real space to put a number plate, so you have to have the plinth on, but we're going to try and find a way of putting a smaller number plate on the car. Also it has a standard chrome big grills which we'll be turning into black as soon as we can. So the car will be going to Ish at Quattro Coachworks quite soon, so you can do that. The first stop is actually Andy at Unique Detail to paint prep the car and ceramic coat it. That's why we haven't had the car washed. If you're wondering why the car's dirty, it's because we've asked them not to wash it to prevent as many swells as we can. So it's a lot more angular than the F10. The wheels I'm not a massive fan of. I'm sure we will be changing them quite soon, but the stock F10 M5 wheels for me were pretty, they're almost perfect for the car. They had really nice concave. The design was really nice. These ones, I don't think they can quite make their mind up as to what they're doing. They seem a bit too weak in the design for the size of the car. Okay, so inside the car, the level of interior quality is a lot higher than the F10 M5. Standard, it comes with the Alcantara dash. It comes with the full leather, so leather on the dash. But just the actual feel of the materials is a lot higher than the F10 M5, which it should be, considering the list price is actually a lot higher. So part of the reason why the list price is higher on the F90 than it is on the F10 is that the F10 didn't come with many options. The F90 actually comes with quite a lot of options as standard. So you're not having to spec absolutely everything on it. Just to give you a quick example, without running through the whole list, full leather, Alcantara headlining, Harman Kardon is also standard. Heated seats are part of the comfort pack, which is quite good value. The only other option we've actually put in is the display key and also the sports exhaust, just to give the car a little bit of noise from the get-go. I mean, look at just the interior light here as well. It's almost like an Art Deco light. It has the mood lighting as well, and also in the interior options we went for this carbon and black chrome interior trim. The interior is two-tone, so it's Silverstone on the outer and then it's black leather on the inner. So just in general, I mean, I can't give you a complete rundown as the car is like completely new to me, but just straight away it feels much more luxurious than the F10 M5. It's got the M modes are now in red, and they're configurable, so you can actually make them four-wheel drive or two-wheel drive. Two-wheel drive only works with the DSC off. The four-wheel drive you can drive in MDM as well, and it's got the normal steering, dampers and throttle changes, so you can run them in efficient, comfort or sport. And also the main difference between the F10 and this one is that the fact that this is now auto box and not a DCT, so that will be one of the biggest changes from the cars, because the engines are more or less the same, but the gearbox and the four-wheel drive are the biggest sort of technical change between the cars. So coming to the rear of the car, I really like the design. It's chunky, it's purposeful. The lights are actually sort of a really flowing design with the rear. The rear diffuser is actually already very aggressive. It's almost aftermarket with the fins and the way this bit comes down. So yeah, looking at that, if I'm looking at making a rear diffuser for it, it's gonna have to be something a bit different, because BMW have almost gone aftermarket on the back straight away to differentiate it from the normal G series cars. Because on the F10 it's very subtle compared to this. I think this, especially from the rear, looks a lot more aggressive than the F10 M5 does. Obviously it's got the normal M5 chrome badge, which we'll have to make in black. And the other thing about this car is, if you take a look at the roof, it is a carbon roof like all the other M cars have now, except the M2. So it's in the double bubble style. So in the previous generation, the M6 had a carbon roof, but then the F10 M5 didn't. So in this model, they've changed it, so the M5 has it also. So let's move on to the most exciting part for us, apart from the four-wheel drive system, which is the engine. So the engine is actually very similar to the outgoing F10 M5. If you're familiar with the layout, it looks almost exactly the same. It's got the two charge coolers in the middle, turbos in the V, airbox either side. What we have noticed is that it doesn't have any MAF sensors anymore. Also, the inlets into the turbos are much more fluid design than they were before. So it's going to be interesting to see what power this engine makes from standard and what the capabilities of it are, especially now that it's got four-wheel drive. At least they'll be able to put the power down. The problem with the F10 was you could get them to like 750 horsepower and 680 odd foot-pound of torque very easily, but you weren't getting full grip until fourth gear. So if any of you guys have seen our videos when we're racing at VMAX, you know, the supercars get off and they're kind of well ahead of us, and we kind of reel them in at the end. Well, now when we make videos with this one, we should be actually keeping up with them right from the beginning and then leaving them as we power on. So the car's officially been handed over to us. We're going to go give it its first drink of fuel, head home, and I just wanted to say thank you to James, Amy and Miles from Sitner Tamworth for looking after us on the purchase of this car. This has been our second purchase from them, and it's been very smooth as normal. I want to say thank you to them for getting us the first allocation as well that they had for a customer. I'm looking forward to getting behind the wheel now and actually completing the 1200 miles run-in service, so we can give you guys a proper impression of what the differences are between this and the F10, and see how the four-wheel drive system works, because obviously I've had a lot of M cars, they've all been rear-wheel drive, and this is the first four-wheel drive one, so it's the start of a new era, I guess. So thanks for joining us today. Keep up to date with all of the content we're going to be pushing out on the F90. We'll try and keep it regular and show you all the changes we make to the car as we go along, and we'll see you next time. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you want to see more of this project, you can watch that over here. If you want to watch what YouTube suggests you might like from our other videos, you can watch that over here. As always, if you haven't already, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. And if you've got any questions for us, please drop them in the comments below and we'll do our best to answer them for you.